Hello viewers and welcome to another match of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest. My name is Mitch and I am the Hive Tyrant. Today we have another game sent in by Pejhmon and Shirin. To the right we see none other than Colonel Iron Hand Straken himself, and to the left we have Eldorath Starbane. Pejhmon, our player to the right, begins the game holding our initiative token, and it looks as though planet number 1, our world currently under contest, is going to be Boundless, the forced random card discard planet. Pejhmon's opening deploy action is going to be placing a copy of Sakalem Shrine Guard out to planet number 1. For the cost of 1, it's got a command icon, 1 attack, 1 hit point. It has the soldier trait, quite relevant to Colonel Straken, and provided that it's sitting at a green strong point type icon possessing planet, it gets a semi-permanent +1 attack, +1 hit point bonus. But if at any point it leaves such a planet, like if it bounces back into your HQ, if it has even a single point of damage already on it, it could potentially be killed off instantaneously. At planet number 4, Pejhmon throws out yet another 1-cost soldier. This time it's going to be a copy of Tallarn Raiders, 1 command icon, no attack, but 2 hit points, and provided a Warlord is at that same planet, it does get a persistent +2 attack value bonus. But on Shirin's side of the table, out at planet number 5, she's got a lone copy of Void Pirate, 1 cost, 1 command icon, +1 card bonus, and it looks like Shirin has actually revealed her choice of allied faction being Dark Eldar in throwing out an Incubus Warrior to planet number 2. So, for the cost of 2, it's got a couple command icons, it's got 3 attack, as well as just 1 hit point, and at planet number 3, we now see a non-soldier trait, Astra Militarum faction-affiliated unit. It's going to be the Rattling Deadeyes sitting there at 3. So, Pejhmon's now got a 1 cost, 1 attack, 1 hit point, 1 command icon, 1 keyword ranged unit sitting out at that planet, and looks like we've now got a pair of combat units being put out to planet number 1. So keep in mind, Pejhmon's got initiative at that planet, whether or not he keeps it based on the enemy warlord's movement, but Shirin's got a copy of Bloodied Reavers at that planet, 2 cost, 2 attack, 2 hit points, 1 command icon. It's a vehicle with no war gear eligibility, and as soon as a warlord shows up at that planet, it's going to be able to attack out for 4, and of course, wherever Eldorath himself arrives, he's going to be able to exhaust a target enemy non-warlord unit. So, at planet number 1, we see our first signature army unit, and now there's a second subsequent copy of this same card out to planet number 5, but they're both going to be Straken's command squad, so another 2-cost signature unit, 1 command icon, 2 attack, 2 hit points, yet another instance of an Astra Militarum faction soldier. So, alongside Straken, they're going to be able to attack out for 3, and the instant that they leave play at a planet, you essentially put a Guardsman token into play, which itself is a 1/2 soldier trait token, and once again, alongside Straken, that unit itself, which enters play ready, of course, is going to be able to attack out for an additional 2. So, looks like we've got a copy of Slith Mercenary positioned at planet number 4. It's a 1-cost, 2 command icon unit with 2 attack and 2 hit points, and it's pretty cheap. It manages to trump the 1 command icon associated with that equivalently cost Tallarn Raider, so a fantastic late deploy action, and it looks as though both of our players are deciding where exactly they want to send their respective warlords. Note, planet number 1 is going to be that forced random card discard planet, and the earliest we could possibly see a victory is looking to be planet number 5, so this may actually be a reasonably long game. Looks like there's not really a whole hell of a lot of planet-type icons out there on the tabletop. I suppose you could say that Colonel Straken is slightly advantaged at green planets just because of those Sakalem Shrine Guards, and it looks like Straken himself is being a little bit ballsy in deciding to show up at planet number 2. Eldorath instead goes to planet number 5, so that Eldorath can stand to derive benefit from that Void Pirate. So planet number 1, that's going to be 2 command icons. Okay, no, actually, that's going to be a copy of Foresight relocating Eldorath to planet number 1. So a fantastic play there. Eldorath arrives, exhausts that copy of Straken's command squad. So planet number 1 is going to be a couple of cards to the left there for Shirin. Planet number 2 is going to be 2 resources in total for Straken. Planet number 3 is going to be another couple of resources for Straken, and planet number 4 is going to be a card and a resource to the left for Shirin. Planet number 5 is going to be a couple of cards and 1 resource to the left for Shirin. So, Something very important to consider here is we're going to be seeing battles at planets number 1 and number 2. Shirin has stolen the initiative at the first planet. She's going to be able to attack for 4, courtesy of that Bloodied Reavers, and provided that they're able to splatter into the Scalum Shrine Guard, granted a unit with only 2 hit points, there's not really going to be a whole hell of a lot that Pejhmon's going to be able to do to deal with this effect. Glorious Intervention is the signature event for Straken, and it looks like we do not actually see that function. So that is just going to be a dead copy of the Shrine Guard, and now Eldorath takes a swing. He's going to end up wounding Straken's command squad, but back to my subject there, looks like the Straken's command squad retreats. We're going to end up seeing a battle at planet number 2. Glorious Intervention, by the way, is you basically, after attack damage is assigned to one of your units, you sacrifice a soldier or warrior in order to prevent that damage, Indomitable style, and then deal damage equal to the sacrificed unit's printed attack value to your unit. So, Boundless triggered that forced random card discard. I happen to miss what exactly it was that Pejhmon discarded, but we've also got a battle at planet number 2. Let's hope for Pejhmon's sake his opponent does not have a 2 shield value card, and it looks like she does. And that's about what sucks there with Straken's move, is he takes a swing and power is discarded as shields, and therefore the Incubus Warrior is going to survive. It's going to be able to take a swing at Straken. It hit him for 3 -2, thanks to the timely interjection of a shield card, and therefore Straken's got 1 point of damage, and just like Straken's command squad survived in order to be able to retreat at the end of the combat round there, well, after the end of the combat round prior to going into combat round number 2, the Incubus Warrior performed the exact same way. So, looks like Shirin has collected 1 green strong point type icon. We've gone through an HQ phase. That's going to be 4 resources and 2 cards for each of our players. Our new planet number 5 is going to be Eloith, that planet that has 2 printed card bonus, so it's therefore pretty fantastic in and of itself. But furthermore, should you win a battle at that planet, you take a look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add one of those cards to your hand. So, Shirin's currently got initiative, and I believe it's going to be up to her to start putting out units onto the tabletop. She probably wants to go for planet number 1, but it's also probably not going to be the absolute end of the world if she doesn't end up picking that planet up, just because unless our last to be revealed planet is also green, then Shirin's going to have to make dead sure to win planets number 1 and 4. So as far as I'm concerned, either player's victory condition is still pretty much up in the air. But a couple interesting plays here. To the right, we've got a copy of Troop Transport, so it's a 0-cost limited card, and at a green strong point possessing planet, you can sacrifice it in order to put 2 Guardsman tokens into play, which are normally 1/2s, but again, alongside Straken, they're attacking for 2 apiece, but the trick there is you have to keep Straken alive, whether it's through Steel Legion Chimera or Rockcrete Bunker or any number of other effects. You've got to definitely have some contingency plan when he's on the battlefield, but at a non-green planet, that's just 1 Guardsman token. So, back to Shirin, she's put out a copy of the Dire Avenger Exarch, a 3-cost, 2-attack, 4-hit point unit with just 1 command icon, and whenever you're declaring an attack at its planets, you have to direct that attack toward a warrior, and notably, Incubus Warrior is a warrior, but Bloodied Reavers, if memory serves, are not, and of course Eldorath Starbane himself is just an Aleatok Psyker, not Shrieker. Okay, so Pejhmon has purchased the control of the Slith Mercenary at 3, looks like Eldorath is going to arrive to 4, and then Straken shows up to 5. So Straken's going to pick up a couple of cards, he's going to drop off that already injured copy of his command squad, and therefore he's going to be able to potentially set himself up on subsequent rounds to keep reeling in that card bonus. Eldorath once again relocates thanks to Foresight, so that's going to be 2 out of 2, that's nearly 100% of those copies used, and Eldorath is going to be arriving to planet number 2, that's going to be a sterling opportunity for Eldorath to kill off that Rattling Deadeye, and of course, collect command struggles for days. So planet number 1 is going to be a couple of resources to the left. Man, that Eldar economy is strong. Eldorath picks up 2 resources at planet number 2. At planet number 3, that's going to be a card and a resource to the right for Pejhmon. Note, Shirin captures planet number 1 entirely uncontested, so that's going to be +1 resource for her, -1 resource for Pejhmon. Battle erupts at planet number 2 as well. Eldorath ends up killing that Rattling Deadeye. This is going to be a routed unit, and let's see what exactly Shirin decides to choose. Planet number 4, by the way, is going to be that Void Pirate winning command all by its lonesome, so that's going to be another couple of cards and one resource there to the left for Shirin. And at planet number 5, looks like Pejhmon was cut a bit of a break, and he does at least get to pull in 2 cards, and it looks as though he is going to end up winning that battle, and therefore he'll get to kind of pick what card he'd like off the top of his deck. So what exactly is Shirin going to pick in regard to options? The Tallarn Raiders is potentially going to be able to attack for 3. The Slith Mercenaries, I believe, are a warrior, so therefore alongside Straken, they themselves would also be able to attack for 3, and it looks like she does finally decide on that Tallarn Raiders. Her economy is sufficiently strong that she might be able to purchase back her Slith Mercenary, and that would just be absolutely fantastic. Keep in mind, something we could have seen is Pejhmon having popped his troop transport in order to dump a couple of guardsman tokens over at planet number 1, but they'd have had a little bit of trouble chewing through that 2/4 Dire Avenger Exarch, especially in the context of Shirin presumably being able to throw out like an Archon's Terror or something like that if it was looking like she was going to be losing that combat. But any of those tokens are indeed Elysian Assault Team eligible, so let's see what exactly is going to be happening here. We've got another HQ phase having come and gone. Our final planet to be seen of the game is going to be Aatrox Prime. It's going to be that planet where upon winning a battle at it, you pick the enemy HQ or an adjacent planet, and you deal 1 point of damage to each and every enemy unit at that location. Look at that pile of resources for both of our players, and they've actually got quite a few cards as well. The initiative token, of course, is going to be in Pejhmon's possession, and it looks as though we've now got a copy of Rockcrete Bunker out onto the field, so whenever one of his units happens to be assigned damage, I believe it's through an attack, but don't hold me to that. You can basically just exhaust that support, move 1 point of damage on it, and as soon as it has, I believe, 4 points of damage on it, then you are forced to sacrifice it. So what do we see here? That's going to be a copy of Bealtan Guardians out to planet number 5. That's going to be a 1-cost loyal Eldar unit. Absolutely fantastic. 1 attack, 1 hit point, but the reason you include it in your deck is because it's got 2 command icons. Very strong Eldar card indeed. And at planet number 1, looks like Pejhmon might actually win a planet for once. It's going to be a copy of Blood Angels Veterans at that planet. So his choice of ally has now been spoiled to be Space Marines. That's a 3-cost unit, 3 attack, 3 hit points, 1 command icon. It's got a reaction where so long as it remains ready, you prevent the first point of damage each and every time it happens to be assigned damage. Therefore, I definitely encourage you, dear viewers, to always trigger that entirely optional reaction each and every opportunity possible. And that's going to be our current first planet, being Farron. So if Pejhmon's able to win this, he's going to be able to pick and choose an enemy unit to rout. All really Shirin needs to do is keep piling units up to planet number 3, and then just hope that there's going to be absolutely nothing that Pejhmon is going to be able to do to resist her there. But what exactly are we going to see for Straken? Straken is currently set up to win command on 3 different planets. Note that Straken's command squad at planet number 4 has got a copy of Promotion on it. We now know that there are going to be no additional copies of Foresight being played by Shirin, so there's no relocation shenanigans to be expected from Eldorath, and wherever it is that Eldorath shows up, he's going to be dropping off a Dire Avenger Exarch at that location, so therefore there's a bit of incentive to show up at planet, say, you could show up at planet 2, and you could even use Karnath to trigger Planum to move the Dire Avenger Exarch to that planet if you want. You could just allow planet number 1 to go uncontested, and then that Blood Angels Veterans will not, well, I mean, it'll bounce into Pejhmon's HQ, show up exhausted at a later date, or Eldorath could go to planet number 1, exhaust the Blood Angels Veterans, and then maybe if Shirin puts out more combat units, she'll be able to quite handily kill off that Blood Angels Veterans there. But wherever it is that Straken goes, and it well could be planet number 1, he's going to be bringing that Tallarn Raiders with him. He's currently got 5 hit points remaining, and he himself is going to be able to attack for 2. Shirin has put out a copy of Bloodied Reavers to planet number 2, and if Pejhmon is forced to pass early, it's entirely possible that Shirin could just purchase control of that Slith Mercenary and make things pretty daunting for Pejhmon to try to surmount. So what exactly can we expect in regard to Warlord movement? I wouldn't be terribly surprised to see Eldorath go to planet number 2, or perhaps planet number 3 seems relatively conservative, but that would be a reasonable opportunity to kill off that Straken's command squad. Another decent option, I guess, would be showing up to planet number 4, so you could knock out that 3 command icon enemy, and then kill it off, kill off that guardsman token, get that command, or get that 2-card bonus, trigger that planet's battle ability, and then for Straken, it looks like he's wanting not to show up to planet number 1 based on his deploying another army unit to that planet, so Straken could... He could show up to planet number 2, but that would be pretty dangerous because Bloodied Reavers could potentially attack him for 4. Planet number 3 is kind of the same deal. It's a high-risk situation. Planet number 4 could be... planet number 5, I mean, could be all right in that you'd win a card and a resource, but maybe you could just trigger that planet to kill that Incubus Warrior, but it's not necessarily fueling his victory condition. So in my mind, Straken doesn't have any absolutely sterling options by any means, but... At planet number 1, we've now got a copy of Righteous Initiate, one of those new Decree of Ruin Warpack units. That's a 2-cost Space Marine with a command icon, 1 attack, 2 hit points. It's, I believe, the first unit we've ever seen printed with the Unstoppable specialization, so the first time it takes damage during a game round, you prevent that first point of damage, and then until the end of the phase, it gets a rather ephemeral attack bonus of 2. That does persist until the end of the phase, but if you trigger that during deploy, if you trigger that during command, once you get down to combat, you're actually kind of denied that ability. But, you know, in the context of having that Rockcrete bunker to also back it up, that could be a pretty stubborn and survivable unit, and if it can repeatedly attack for 3 or for 4 alongside Straken, I feel like a bit of a broken record there. That's nevertheless a pretty powerful unit. Looks like we had a copy of Slith Mercenary played to planet number 4, but Pejhmon used that opportunity as an action to just purchase control of it, and now he's got, looks like 5 command icons sitting at that planet relative to the 2 under the employ of Eldorath. So now even if Eldorath shows up at that planet, the best Eldorath can do is just break even. So looks like Straken and Eldorath both show up to planet number 2, and this is interesting for Straken. Straken's got initiative at that planet. He's going to be able to attack and potentially kill the Bloodied Reavers, but if he doesn't, it's got the opportunity to swing back. It could potentially kill, it could hurt Straken, it could kill the Talon Raiders. Shirin could even purchase control of her Slith Mercenary again, and that could definitely spell a lot of trouble for Straken, and definitely Shirin's got more resources at her disposal, more disposable income than does Pejhmon there. So we'll have to see how things go, but planet number 1, that is going to be 2 resources to the right for Pejhmon. He's going to win it. No contest. That's going to be a routed Dire Avenger Exarch, so it need no longer be the target of attacks. I suppose I misspoke regarding Straken being eligible to attack that Bloodied Reavers. Planet number 2, that's going to be a card and a resource to the left for Eldorath. Let's see what happens during combat. And planet number 3 is going to be a resource and a card. A resource and 2 cards to the left for Shirin. Note that that troop transport was destroyed at some point at planet number 3, the victory condition planet for Shirin, presumably to serve as a bit of a deploy stall so that Pejhmon could attempt to purchase control of the Slith Mercenary there. So the doorbell rings. None of you guys are going to be able to hear it, but this is sometime later. We resume our game, and things are exactly where we left off. So Straken is now, with initiative, going to be able to readily take a swing at the Bloodied Reavers. Shirin has discarded a shield card. It looks like it's going to be a copy of Mind War, and the Bloodied Reavers is going to take an attack in return. So the Bloodied Reavers swings for 4 at Straken. Straken throws out a copy of his Glorious Intervention, so the Slith Mercenary that he purchased control of from Shirin is going to be sacrificed, so he prevents that 4 points of damage dealt to Straken and deals 2 points of damage equivalent to the Slith Mercenary's printed attack power to the Bloodied Reaver. So a pretty fantastic effect, and really one of the only reasons that somebody would think to play Straken over, everybody's new love affair, Broderick War. 4, Eldorath takes a swing at Straken or the Talon Raiders. It doesn't really terribly matter, but the Rockcrete Bunker stands to absorb that impact at after the end of the combat round. Prior to going into combat round number 2, that is going to be Eldorath retreating from that planet, and therefore that is going to be an opportunity there for Straken to trigger the battle ability of his choice. What is he going to do? Of course, as if there were a question, he's going to be triggering Planum in order to relocate that copy of Blood Angels Veterans to our soon-to-be planet number 2. And what's very important about that is, of course, it's going to be the victory condition planet for Shirin, as I've said time and time before. And it looks as though that is going to be a planet where Pejhmon is going to possess initiative, but all the same, if you attack last with your Blood Angels veterans, then you could still stand to derive considerable benefit from its ability. So, we've got another HQ phase in the process of being resolved. The initiative token once again bounces over to Shirin. Both players fetch 4 tokens out of the token bank, and then they draw 2 cards off the top of their deck. And now, what exactly are we going to see? Rockcrete Bunker is going to be primed and armed. It's going to be up to Pejhmon to block Shirin from winning at our current planet number 2, and he himself is going to have to pick up, say, planet number 1 and planet number, I guess he'd have to pick up planet 2, and then if he also picks up planet number 3, then that could be the game for him as well. So, Farron probably isn't really going to do much of anything to feed into his own victory condition unless this goes down to the very last planet of the game. Note that we see another copy of Troop Transport thrown out into Pejhmon's HQ, and now what exactly are we going to be seeing at planet number 1? We've got a copy of the Wild Rider Squadron, so a quite formidable unit. For the cost of 4, it's going to be a 3/4 with command icon, and as a combat action, limit once per phase, you can move it as an action to an adjacent planet, so therefore it's fantastic for swooping in and attempting to secure a kill on the enemy there. Looks like at planet number 1, we've got another copy of Blood Angels Veterans, and it's going to have a copy of Bodyguard attached to it. And if memory serves, any time that a unit at that planet is going to be dealt damage, Bodyguard basically reassigns the initial point of damage to the attached unit. So therefore, the Blood Angels Veterans reaction of, mitigating a whole bunch of damage is just a fantastic 1-2 punch. And note, at planet number 2, we've got a fantastic 5-cost elite in that Fire Drake Terminators. I believe, if memory serves, it's going to be a 2-command icon unit with 3 attack, I believe 5 hit points, but more importantly, it's got a reaction whereupon a unit being declared as an attacker against it is dealt 1 point of damage prior to resolving its attack. So therefore, if you don't have a handful of shield cards, if you're attacking with the likes of Incubus Warrior or Chimera tokens or whatever it happens to be, you could lose a whole hell of a lot of units to that effect. But Eldorath shows up at planet number 4. Straken instead shows up to planet number 1 with a just giant mountain full of units. So what are we going to see here? Planet number 1 is going to be a card and a resource to the right for Pejhmon. Planet number 2 is going to be a couple of cards and a resource to the left for Shirin. Planet number 3 is going to be a couple of cards for Shirin, and planet number 4 is going to be a card and a resource for Shirin. So she is just doing absolutely fantastically in an economic sense, and then just in regard to what exactly we want to see done with Karnath's battle ability upon Pejhmon capturing that planet. Looks like he relocated that Bodyguard attachment equipped Blood Angels Veterans to our current planet number 1. So let's hope for Shirin's sake she's got a copy of Archon's Terror with that unit's name on it, and I suppose for her sake we can hope the same for the other copy of Blood Angels Veterans, and then of course that very nasty elite, that Fire Drake Terminators. Note that Shirin's Wild Rider Squadron has basically vanished from that planet. It retreated as a combat action, so instead of just needlessly being destroyed, it moved away from that location, and I could only imagine that, well, I guess that was not actually after she attacked. I suppose, though, since she has, well, okay, so Straken was at planet number 1, so therefore he had initiative. I was going to say normally you'd want to attack and then move, but she didn't have that option to do so. So, at Eldorath's planet, looks like we are going to be seeing a battle, and that is going to be an Incubus Warrior killing that poor copy of the Slith mercenaries, so it looks like Shirin is killing off her own units, and I guess she just didn't want to repurchase control of them when they're outside of her earliest possible victory condition here, and that is going to be Eldorath taking a swing at that copy of Straken's command squad. The Rockcrete bunker is going to be absorbing that point of damage. Then we come to the end of the combat round, and Straken retreats, so his command squad with its associated promotion manages to leave that planet, and now what are we going to see? We're going to see a huge pile of Space Marines all sitting at planet number 1, and this is going to be pretty tricky for Eldorath to try to just kill off some of this onslaught here. Now would be a pretty decent time for Doom, because if we were to see Doom, albeit at the cost of 4 resources, it would kill those Initiates, it would kill the Talon Raiders, it would also kill Straken's command squad, it would not generate a Guardsman token, and that would definitely take a bit of pressure off of Shirin attempting to win this first planet. Note, I believe that's going to be another copy of Bodyguard played onto the second copy of Blood Angels Veterans, and that is just going to be a tremendous amount of damage mitigation there. So we'll have to see how exactly Shirin can try to work around those effects where units are being assigned damage and they're reassigning damage, and between those two Blood Angels veterans, you can really only exhaust so many in order to try to get rid of that reaction. So if Eldorath shows up at planet number 1, he'll be able to exhaust one, but then the other one will be sitting around, and therefore it's going to be able to sponge up a lot of damage as well. So let us see. We've got a Dire Avenger Exarch now positioned at planet number 1, so it has to be declared, well, any warrior has to be declared as a defender before any other units are eligible. So that means the Incubus Warrior, it means the Dire Avenger Exarch itself, and now we've got a copy of the 2-cost Warlock Destructor at planet number 1 as well. So for the cost of 2, it's going to be a 3-attack, 4-hit point unit with a command icon, and the forced reaction where at the beginning of the deploy phase, you've got to pay an additional resource or otherwise discard that unit. But this is going to be the victory condition planet for Shirin, and therefore it's likely she'll never actually have to pay that resource. But this is a green planet, and it looks like we see another copy of Troop Transport being played out by Pejhmon, an absolutely fantastic card. Once again, that's going to be 2 Guardsman tokens generated per copy of that 0 cost, albeit limited support, and if Straken's at that planet, they're each going to be able to attack for 2, and I think Shirin's going to be rather hard-pressed to direct fire towards Straken, given the context of having not 1 but 2 copies of the Bodyguard-equipped Blood Angels veterans at that planet, or she's going to have to try and kill off some of these units, so it just seems like she's going to be taking a big bit of damage. Each and every warrior or soldier alongside Straken is going to be attacking for an augmented value. And even though Colonel Straken is not considered to be one of our most powerful warlords by any means, in the right situation, he can still pose a bit of a daunting threat, because each and every one of those units at planet number 1 is currently going to derive benefit from his ability, and if he's just going to be a complete nightmare to chew through, considering the 2 Blood Angels with Bodyguard, considering that Rockcrete bunker, considering the shield cards that Pejhmon probably has in store in hand, that could be very difficult to deal with indeed. So for Eldar tricks, we've of course got Nullify, we've got Gift of Isha, which could be quite useful. Looks like on that copy of Firedrake Terminators, we've now got a copy of an attachment. I cannot quite tell what exactly that is, though. I don't know if it's Honorifica Imperialis or not. I do apologize for not checking ahead of time. But if it is Honorifica Imperialis, then that is going to be when a warlord is present, it gains ranged and armor bane, and if it's going to be able to attack for 4 in the presence of Straken, that's going to be a very deadly blow being dealt out. That's enough to kill that Dire Avenger Exarch, and of course, once that's destroyed, then each and every other unit is eligible to be attacked, like the Bloodied Reavers, the Wild Rider Squadron, all manner of different options there. So at planet number 1, we've now got a second copy of Warlock Destructor at that same world. We've also got a copy of Blood Angels Veterans, and this is just going to be a gigantic grind. So let us see how exactly this is going to work. We've got both of our warlords presumably going to be showing up at planet number 1 so that if nothing else, Eldorath can exhaust some of these units. I believe Eldorath still has the advantage in regard to command icons. Looks like it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for Eldorath, and then just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 for Straken, so that's going to be a large volume of cards and resources influxing for our Eldar player, and maybe a couple Archon's Terrors are going to be able to remove those Blood Angels veterans from the planet, but if that is Honorifica Imperialis on the Fire Drake Terminators, that could be just an enormous threat posed to any of those units. But to no one's surprise, both of our warlords decide to show up to planet number 1. Eldorath conveniently gets to pick and choose a unit to exhaust. Will it be the Fire Drake Terminators? Will it be a Blood Angels veterans? Indeed it is. So when Bodyguard keeps triggering and reassigning the first point of damage to the Blood Angels veterans, at the very least it's not going to be negated entirely, but now Shirin's going to be heavily incentivized to kill or rout the other copy of Blood Angels veterans, just because otherwise it's going to be a large amount of damage just mitigated over the course of a battle there. But planet number 1 is going to be 2 cards and 1 resource to the left for Shirin. Planet number 2 is going to be a couple of cards for Shirin, and planet number 3 is going to be a card and a resource for Shirin. So no income whatsoever. That is going to be Archon's Terror. That is definitely something we want to see, but what is that going to be removing? Is it going to be removing the other Blood Angels veterans, or is it going to be removing the Fire Drake Terminators? The answer is yes. Will we spy that attachment? No, we don't. God damn it. That's going to be another copy of Archon's Terror, though. That is going to be a banished Blood Angels veterans. Archon's Terror is a powerful card, but what's more powerful is playing an extraordinarily strong economy game, and if you can draw a lot of cards, if you can generate a lot of resources and pay for all of those cards, go figure that your deck is going to perform very well indeed. And wow, that is going to be another copy of Archon's Terror. That is the triple threat right there. That's going to be 3 routed units. And now all of a sudden things aren't looking quite so good for dear Colonel Straken there. So if Shirin can win this planet, then that is going to be it. That is going to be the game for Straken. Wow, that was just a giant amount of units that Shirin was able to remove from that planet, but what are we going to see? Straken's got initiative. He's finally going to get an opportunity to take a combat turn here, so Straken's command squad is going to swing for a modified 3, and whenever one of Pejhmon's units takes damage, he can use Rockcrete Bunker to basically negate one of that, and then he can also use, well, I believe he has to use Bodyguard to reassign some of that damage. It's not a reaction, it's a forced reaction if memory serves. But Straken's command squad does destroy that copy of Incubus Warrior. We must not see Mobility, the signature attachment, able to be discarded. And now what exactly are we going to see? So long as the Dire Avenger Exarch remains in play, Pejhmon is restricted to only being able to attack warrior trait units, and the only warrior left at that planet is indeed going to be the very Dire Avenger Exarch itself. Looks like that is going to be a swing of 3 dealt to the Blood Angels veterans. Rockcrete Bunker shaves off 1 point of damage. Therefore, the Blood Angels aren't quite killed. We see a Guardsman token swing for 2. That's going to be another copy of Empower discarded as a shield. So therefore, whatever its target was is not going to be wounded. I suppose its target had to have been the Dire Avenger Exarch because of the printed ability on that card. And now what is going to be next for Pejhmon? So it's no, actually, I guess I was out of turn. That's going to be the Bloodied Reavers taking a colossal swing of 4, and that is going to be 3 points of damage to Straken, and that's, like I said, it's necessary. It's a forced reaction. 1 point of damage reassigned to that Blood Angels veterans, and there's going to be no shields used. I have no idea what's left in Pejhmon's hand. Maybe it's an army unit, but that is going to be a dead Blood Angels, and that's going to be a nearly destroyed Straken. But Straken himself has taken a swing. That's going to be Gift of Isha discarded as shield, and speaking of swings, that's going to be another one of those Eldar units bloodying Colonel Straken. So Straken's going to be a 2/5. He's going to be immediately jettisoned from the battlefield, and now all of these IG soldiers are going to be far less formidable up against the rank and file of the Eldar troopers here. So a Guardsman attacks. It's going to be blocked off by a shield card. This is going to be a Warlock Destructor taking a swing at that Righteous Initiate. So the Righteous Initiate has got a pool of 2 hit points. It's got that unstoppable specialization, but, 3 minus 1 is still 2, and therefore it's going to be killed in 1 hit, 1 shot, 1 kill. Righteous Initiate is dead. It does not actually get to benefit from its ability there, and that is also going to be that Wild Rider Squadron, I believe, killing that Straken's command squad. That's going to be an additional Guardsman token being dropped into play. The Guardsman token is going to successfully deal out a point of damage to the Dire Avenger Exarch. That's going to be a troop transport exploding. That's going to be a point of damage dealt. No, maybe it's not. Maybe we're going to see a shield. Are we going to see a shield? Will we see a shield? We're going to see a shield. That is a shield. That's going to be another copy of Mind War discarded. As if Archon's Terror wasn't enough, that could have been a 1-cost exhaust target enemy unit, which is just incredibly nasty. That is going to be a dead Straken's command squad. That is going to be yet another Guardsman token. Tokens for days there at that planet. That is going to be a colossal 6 total tokens. I don't know if I've ever seen a non-Omega Zero command post Straken with so many tokens. That is going to be the troop transport blowing up. That's going to be still more tokens. That is 8 out of the 10 possible total tokens. That Dire Avenger Exarch is almost killed. It is actually killed. I spoke ever so slightly too soon. That is going to bring us to the end of the combat round. Each and every one of these units is going to ready. And now what else are we going to see? The initiative does belong in the hands of Pejhmon. He's got 9 units at that planet. If Eldorath were to retreat, that Talon Raiders is going to be able to attack for 0. So if it were me, I'd be sorely tempted to retreat with Eldorath, but all the same, he's got a big pool of 7 hit points. Looks like we use Gift of Isha, and that is going to return that Dire Avenger Exarch to play. Talon Raiders takes an attack at the Dire Avenger Exarch, the only resident warrior at the planet. Another Gift of Isha, the 3rd copy thereof, is going to be discarded as shields, and that's going to be no damage to the Dire Avenger Exarch. Warlock Destructor kills a Guardsman token. The Dire Avenger Exarch takes a point of damage. That is going to be another dead token, courtesy of the Wild Rider Squadron. Another token takes a swing, and let's see those shields. Shirin, that's going to be nullified. That is going to be no points of damage. Now, are we going to see the Dire Avenger Exarch attack? I don't know why the Dire Avenger Exarch isn't attacking. I guess we're going for guaranteed kills. Warlock Destructor kills Guardsman token. Guardsman token deals a point of damage to the Dire Avenger Exarch. Something attacks, kills a token. The token attacks. Dire Avenger Exarch takes another point of damage. Can the Dire Avenger Exarch attack, please? Please. Alright, so it's going to be our Eldar player's turn. Can we see the Dire Avenger attack? No, I guess the answer is no. It's just going to be Eldorath. Finally, we see the Dire Avenger Exarch attack. That's going to be a dead copy of Talon Raiders into the combat round. All of our units ready, and it looks like Pejhmon is quickly running out of hope. That's going to be a Guardsman token attacking. The Dire Avenger Exarch is going to be killed. I feel like I've said that so many times. Warlock Destructor kills a token. Token attacks Bloodied Reavers. Bloodied Reavers kills a token. Another token is dead. Another token is dead, and that is going to be the GG right there. Good game. Congratulations to Shirin for piloting Eldorath Starbane to victory against Colonel Straken. That was a monumentally entertaining game. That was pretty fantastic. So a huge thanks to Pejhmon and Shirin for once again allowing me to, come into their living room, spectate this game, publish this match to YouTube. It was pretty ridiculous at the end there. That was an absurd mountain of tokens that Pejhmon generated for himself. But, my dear viewers, I hope you enjoyed this video. Congratulations again to Shirin, but well played as ever by proper Sir Pejhmon. So, if you enjoyed this content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. If you are already subscribed, share this content. Let more people become exposed to Conquest LCG. More viewers means more possible players, means a bigger message we send together to Fantasy Flight Games, demanding they continue to support and develop this fantastic product. If you ever want to get in touch with me, I encourage you to do so through Facebook or on Twitter. I've been posting a ton of news updates, rules updates lately, and all sorts of content to the Facebook, so I definitely encourage you to throw me a sympathy like, because my self-esteem is directly proportional to the number of social media followers that I have. So if you ever feel inclined to help support the Hive Tyrant, help me recover some of my file hosting hosting and operating expenses, I would be absolutely honored, humbled, and deeply appreciative were you to make a $1 or $2 monthly donation to my Patreon. Any additional dollars are going to be reinvested in improving the audio and video quality of this channel, so as always, thank you so much for watching, and once again, be sure to check back in again soon for much more Conquest LCG content to come.